What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I guess this would be scouting vlog part 3. Now, I have done a couple other scouts that I didn't really record, but we're back out here in the swamp. See, I've already found buck bed. Nice rub. You can see the outline right there where that bed was. Obviously, he was bedded here when the water was lower, but it's a pretty cool little spot. And just trying to, get after it, trying to learn something. We don't have a lot of time until turkey season, and I need to get more miles in the swamp. So I'm gonna work this edge and just keep working it and see what we can figure out, see what we can learn from. I have hunted here before several times, and I can't remember which tree. It was one of these trees behind me somewhere I hunted out of. So I'm just gonna take you on the journey and show you what we see. So let's go. All right, well, here's a great buck bed. It's got rubs in the bed. There's a ton of hair right down there. I'll show you guys up close, but I mean, look at this thing. Got hair, tons of hair. Big old bed. The rub's not super big, but like, look at out, trying to look out. Literally has protection from every side. I mean, you're not getting close to him. But the mainland's behind me. So what we would have to do is we'd have to look where we could set up to get him coming out this way. So if there's acorns on the mainland, it's a really good spot that he might bed and head right over there. It's probably about 200 yards to the mainland, but it's extremely wet right through here. So, I mean, you're not gonna get close. You just have to hope, pick the right trail and hope he goes that way. If not, he could go this way or this way, it looks like. Oh, here's a, kind of looks old, but I mean, this was being rubbed on. Might be a decent buck. 3-year-old maybe. That's pretty low rub. It's like he was laying, like if he was laying here and just rubbing. Have you guys ever witnessed that? Like a buck laying in his bed, just rubbing on a tree while he's laying there? It's kind of what that looks like. I don't know if they do that or not, but it's a cool spot. I'm gonna mark this for sure. So here's another perfect example of what I'm looking for. Clearly bed right there, and then you can see over there there's a bed. And there's actually hair in that one, and I think there was probably more hair in this bedding complex that I call it, because there's several spots he could bed. I think there's probably more hair, but it's all wet in here, and that water probably rose up, and then the hair probably got moved around. But there is hair right over there. So I mean, this is another good one. I'm gonna mark it. I'm just marking everything. Marking it, trying to figure out a game plan to hunt here. I know there's big ones in here. I did hunt. We found that other bed over there, and I put in a couple hunts over here. And I know for a fact, if there's acorns in that woods, these deer are gonna be here. So, I mean, look at this run. Look at that. Same thing here. Just a big run out of here. So I doubt you guys can see, but right there, about probably, I'd say 60 yards is cattails. So there's kind of like a point that comes off a little bit. So, and there's a big run on the edge of those cattails. So then I was just checking the edge and finding some shady areas. I think that this is definitely, in fall, late summer, it's gonna be shady here, and they're gonna like this. All right, so this is a beast right here. I mean, clearly multiple beds. A lot of stuff going on here. Big trail going out that way. There's a trail going out that way. There's a trail going out that way. There's a trail going out this way. I mean, this is what I call a bedding complex. I think I've heard other people use that term. It's not mine, but I mean, there's just multiple stuff going on here. We got a little bit of rub in there. Not huge sign. Oh, there's actually a pretty nice rub right over there. I don't know if you guys can see that on this camera. There's a pretty decent rub right there, actually. We'll go look at that in a second, but I mean, look at this. Clearly multiple beds. Big bed right there. You can tell that this spot here, it's higher, so it doesn't get wet as much. You can see how dry it is right there. This is a fantastic bed right here. I already marked it. I mean, all he's got to do is stand up and he can see, you can see out a little bit, but it's all cattails right on this edge. I mean, if you look, any danger comes, he's got 15 ways he can go. I don't know, is this a primary bed? It might be. I mean, I'd love to see more rubs in it, like bigger rubs. Like I said, that one's pretty decent, and we'll go look at that one over there. It actually looks like there's another hump right there too, so let's go check that out. Yeah, see, that's a little better rub. It's a little bit higher. He's rubbing on that too. So here's a view of that big bedding thing. But imagine I'm standing on ice right now. So in season, you know, it's gonna be like way low. Be like down here. Plus all this crap will be grown up. Alright, so we made it over to that other set of trees. Definitely something happening here. Over there, nice big hump over there. I think maybe something beds here, but it's not like, well, there's a little bit of smooshed grass right there. I'm gonna say that that's the bed. I see a rub over there too. That's been rubbed on. Old historical rub. Definitely looks like a bed right here. Yeah, there's some hair in there. So we're literally 50 yards from that other main big bed complex thing. It's right over there. Definitely bedding here for sure. But how do you hunt it, right? That's the main thing. How do you sneak in here? You'd have to come in and hunt this on extremely heavy winds. You'd have to know they're here by the sign on the mainland, and then, you know, element of luck as well. Definitely think it's worth marking and keeping track of for sure. I mean, on a windy day, maybe you could sneak in and get, you know, there's a ton of trees you could potentially hunt, especially over that way. So I'm gonna keep going and just keep working this edge. I'm not even, the cattails are right over there, so not that far away. On the transition, just like Dan says. Walk them transition lines. Kind of looks like a rub. Maybe he was rubbing on it for a couple seconds. Some more rubs right there, little ones. Right on the edge. Just walking the edge of this transition. Yeah. Little tiny ribs. Little rub right here. You know, the main bedding was back that way. It's what it appears. So I'm just keep working this transition. You know, I was walking on the edge of the transition, but it didn't look as good. So I kind of moved like 40, 50 yards inside the edge. Now I'm starting to pick up on a little bit more sign. But I mean, it's still a little froze, the ground, but it's like I'm falling through in spots. So it's not ideal. It's like an early spring this year. You know, people ask me all the time, like, why are you doing this? Why are you out in the swamp? And like, you can only find so much stuff looking at an aerial. You have to get out here and actually look. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure out how I can use this knowledge to exploit it come deer season. So, you know, am I gonna come all the way to these beds? No, but you know, maybe there's looks like a little point here that comes out, hardwood point. Maybe I can hunt on that point and catch something trying to slip in. Or you know, with that big bedding complex we saw at the very beginning, I would have to probably get pretty close to that because that was like 200 yards from the mainland. That's what you got to do. You need to know where the beds are so you know how close you can get. So it'd be interesting to see if there's a bunch of beds right off this tip. I think I might go over there and look because there are a couple of trees, tamarack looking trees, that they might have beds under them. Yeah, let's just go look. Trying to be careful with my footing because it's like the ice. It's ice in some spots, but it's like melted and it's like super slippery. So I'm trying not to fall out here with these cameras. It's always the worry. All right, so it's about a week later after the swamp. I kind of abruptly ended that video, and it's really just because I got distracted and I went in, I got to that point and I just started wandering around the mainland and I found a couple scrapes and, you know, I just got kind of distracted from, my main goal was to find the beds, and I allowed myself to get distracted. I started focusing on other stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back. The next video, I'm gonna go back to those beds and I'm gonna figure out how to hunt them and how to kill those deer that are coming out of there. So, you know, they could go the other way, which there's a lake, and if they walk a long way, you know, opposite of the mainland, they can get to some other crops. But my gut tells me if there's beans in that field again and there's acorns dropping, that's going to be another good early season spot. In this past year, there was beans and there was acorns there, and I had some good deer on camera. So the next video, I'm going to go back to that very same spot and I'm just going to try to break it down. I'm going to go back to those beds. I'm going to show the same map and I'm going to try to find kill trees. So that's the whole idea here of, you know, B-style hunting, is you got to get as close as possible to those beds. So instead of, you know, working other areas or just getting distracted like I have a tendency to do, I try to go all these different spots. I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to break down that spot even further. So hopefully these videos are helpful for you. You know, I try to show the map this time. Hopefully you guys will, you know, respect the spot if you know what it is. It is a real spot in Michigan, and it's, you know, it's where I hunt. So I hunt a lot of spots, but hopefully you guys will be respectful of the area, and hopefully, you know, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.